From the paddy fields of Siem Reap, Cambodia,
welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
This week, what do pro bike riders do when they finish their race season?
Rest!
So they go bikepacking, of course. We'll be checking in with AG2R rider Alex Bodge to find out what he got up to on his adventures.
Most do rest. We'll also be looking back at our best and worst parts of 2022, from epic adventures to broken bones and everything in between. This year in the world of cycling, we learned that the best male riders in the world are fallible, but that the best female rider in the world isn't.
No, invincible in fact. We also learned that we can no longer make jokes about Ollie being dropped.
No, unfortunately not. Ollie is now the fittest rider in GCN Towers, and doesn't he make sure that he reminds us of that at every opportunity? But it's been a great year of achievements for many of us here at GCN. Killian Kelly went from zero to hero, completing one of the hardest Etape du Tours in recent years.
Yeah, Manon completed the full distance of the men's Strada Bianca, the longest ride she'd ever done, but then went even better, finishing the 225-kilometre long Steamboat gravel race.
Quite an accomplishment, yeah. Connor completed the Tour de Station,
whilst Alex took on the world hour record on an e-bike.
Hank took on many challenges and still is alive, isn't
Well, he came pretty close, didn't he, with his caffeine overdose.
Oh, true.
Really move, Hank.
I never thought this would be how Hank goes.
The
thing is though, it's like,
Hank, you okay?
It's quite
Breathing really hard. Are you okay, mate?
It's a bit weird, isn't it, Hank?
Dan did one ride and unfortunately broke his ankle after 20 minutes.
Yes, and I am learning this year that broken bones don't mend themselves quite as quickly when you're in your 40s, unfortunately.
Cue violin, please.
Well, actually, let's keep that violin going, shall we, Si? Because 2022 was also the year that you joined me in having veteran status.
Well, I have
wasn't
now, yes, but we don't need to dwell on that fact.
No, but we may as well look back at the biggest bodge of 2022, which is you and cyclocross barriers.
I'm telling you, lesser ankles would have broken with that sort of impact.
Do you know what I was thinking today, actually, on my way into work, is that if you ever break your right ankle, our ankles beneath this desk will increase in size sequentially from the viewer's right to left.
Do you reckon your broken ankle is still smaller than my non-broken ankle?
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, we haven't measured it, have we? But I have no doubt about that.
You had a bit of time on your hands, haven't you, recently? Right then, on to the main topic this week, not the size of our ankles, but what do pro cyclists do in the off-season?
Well, most of them do take time off.
I take 6 weeks off.
3 weeks.
1 month.
3 weeks.
3.5, yeah.
4 weeks. Or like 1 month.
5 weeks with nothing.
2 weeks.
24 days this season.
4 weeks.
For me, it's normally 4 weeks.
2 weeks.
But if you're Alex Bodge, you'd spend a few weeks going bikepacking around Europe on your own.
Yeah, Bodge is not strictly a pro rider just yet, but his results over recent times have earned him a 2-year pro contract with GCN, which starts on the 1st of January 2023.
Yeah, and Connor has just caught up with him to find out more about his adventure and what sparked the idea.
Where did you ride to and how long were you kind of bikepacking for?
I started in the beginning of September and I had 35 days to do my trip. So I planned it on Strava and I did 35 days and it was like 4,700K.
Wow, that's epic. And were you like planning that, or did it was something that you just decided to do at the last minute, or how did it kind of come about? Like, why did you go on this big long trip?
It wasn't really last minute because I couldn't do any more races in the end of the season with my team. So my last race was L'Avenir with the French team, and after I had nothing, so I had 1 month without any races. So I wanted to do something I couldn't do after, something big, and so I took my computer and Strava and let's go.
Nice one. And you were totally on your own?
Yeah, alone. Just in the end, in Corsica, my father joined me for the last 5 days. So it was really great to have company in the last few days, because it was starting to be tough with the loneliness.
Yeah, I bet. So you were on the road for 35 days, and just kind of describe the route in a bit more detail. So where did you start? Where did you go? And where did it finish up again?
So I started in Albertville, where I live, through the Alps in Valle d'Aosta first, to Lugano in Swiss, then Dolomites, Italy. Then I crossed the border to Austria. I did all the Tyrol. After I went to Slovenia, Ljubljana. Then down to Rijeka in Croatia. And I did all the coast of Croatia with the little islands and stuff. So it was really cool. Then I did, you have a short way in Bosnia, which is cool. It's one more country to check on the list. So it's cool. Then Montenegro, Albania. Then I took the boat to Italy. And I did all the south of Italy, Sicily. I climbed the Etna. Then another boat from Palermo to Cagliari in Sardinia. And then Sardinia on the west coast, Corsica on the west coast. And then back to home from Toulon to Albertville.
Wow, that's some route. And what were the sort of places you were staying in? Were you kind of aiming for hotels, or did you plan each night where you go?
Not really. I just did it day by day. When I was at night, I just planned my route for the next day and where I was going to sleep. In the beginning, it was more camping, because I was a little bit afraid, to be honest, alone to sleep in the nature in my tent. So yeah, just campings in the beginning. And when I arrived in Croatia, it was much more good weather. So I slept on the beaches every night, basically. So it was really nice.
Wow, that's so cool. I love it. I think that's such a cool adventure. Like, fair play for taking it on, especially solo. Do you think it's kind of helped your fitness going into next year? Like, you're stepping up to the world tour, 35 days of solid riding. How has it kind of changed you after a year racing?
I think it wasn't so bad finally, because I felt I had more strength in the end. But on the intensities, it was really tough for me in the end. So I think it's still good for me to have done that. And if I can work on my intensities now, I can. I have a big basis, of low intensity, and I think it can be benefit for the future.
Well, I think you've got the crown for the longest, hardest pro training ride ever. It's 35 days. But what was the best part of the trip? Best highlight?
I think the most beautiful place is Corsica in the end.
Well, thanks so much, Alex. I appreciate you sharing it. But yeah, it's such a cool story, and yeah, nice work taking it on. It's mega.
Thanks.
I tell you what, I really love seeing this new trend of pro riders doing something a little different when the opportunity arises. Something that was, in part, started by our very own Connor Dunn, who, along with Larry Warbass, many of you will remember, they did the No-Go tour together after their team suddenly folded.
That's right. Tom Stigent, Tim Wellens rode back to Belgium, do you remember, from Italy after their last race of the season a couple of years back. And we all know about the exploits of Lachlan Morton, don't we? Who has taken on some truly epic challenges, whilst also raising huge sums of money and awareness around some of the world's most serious problems.
Yeah, he's fantastic, isn't he? And they are all examples of pro riders who, outside of the serious job of racing their bikes, clearly just love riding their bikes, aren't they? I love that. Great stuff.
Totally. What a great way as well for getting those winter miles in.
Very true.
Which is, speaking of winter riding, for many of us at the moment, that is exactly what we are doing right now. But starting on January the 1st, we've got a challenge for you.
30 in 30. It's basically 30 minutes of exercise every day for 30 days.
Which means you can take a day off on the 31st of January.
You can do it all on the bike if you so wish, or you can mix it up and do other sports too. But we're all going to try and see if we can do it.
What are you going to do? Bicep curls or something?
Well, I'm going to do 30 minutes at, well, I might say 1.1 watts per kilo by that point.
Is that zone 2 for you or high intensity?
No, it's VO2 max.
Okay, nice.
It all counts anyway, doesn't it?
Right, now we're partnering with Zwift as well, and GCN presenters are going to be hosting rides on Zwift just about every day of the month. So come along and join us. If you join the GCN Club on Zwift, you'll be able to see the list of club rides.
Yes, and if you are not on Zwift, they are giving away a 14-day trial, so you can at least join us for some of it.
Yeah, or just see us out on the road. Whatever you do, though, make sure you tell us about it as well. So upload to social media or to the GCN app, especially because we're bringing back GCN Inspiration next month. There'll be some swag up for grabs in the GCN show.
That was sorely missed, wasn't it?
It was,
especially by people who'd upload an incredibly inspiring photo just after we stopped it.
Yeah. Well, why don't you re-upload them? Just change the hashtag. No, do it properly. Come on, I'm going to do it properly. You going to try and do it? 30 minutes of physio a day?
Yeah. I'm not going to be fully committed to this just yet, but yeah. One step at a time, as they say.
And now it's time for Cycling Shorts.
Cycling Shorts now, and since this is a pre-recorded show, we thought we would find out what the best and worst moments of 2022 were for the GCN presenters.
Yes, Si and I will think long and hard about our own highlights and lowlights, whilst we now hear from all the other presenters.
This year, my favourite moment has to be the GCN Global Bike Fest. And I'm not just saying that, but I absolutely loved getting out on the mountain bike, enjoying it with a whole host of people that just love cycling and all different disciplines. The parties and the location, Austria Saalbach, is genuinely breathtaking. So that has to be my absolute favourite moment of 2022.
My favourite memory of this year has to be riding the Steamboat gravel race. It was definitely one of the biggest highlights of the year, riding my first proper, quite long distance gravel race and my longest ride ever on gravel. It was, a really good experience. And my least favourite, I can't think of that many off the top of my head, so that has to be good. But I would say when me and Alex were in France at the start of the year filming some content, and we'd finished filming for the day and then we rode back to the hotel and it started raining, sleeting, snowing, hailing, and it was just the worst. Doesn't actually sound that bad, but at the time it was pretty grim. I remember not enjoying life, so yeah.
It's been an amazing year, and there's definitely been a lot more highlights and lowlights. Ridden in loads of amazing places, but the most special thing was when we went to the Dolomites in May, because we had amazing weather. It was me and Hank riding. Blue sky, snow still on the mountains, and because it was May, it's the transitional phase between the seasons, between the ski season and the summer season. It was so quiet, so we had all the roads to ourselves with snow banked up on the sides. It was absolutely incredible. Amazing place to ride in those conditions, because it can get quite busy there. But that was so special, doing all the passes. And I dropped Hank.
Right then, my highlight, undoubtedly, my personal highlight was King Alfred's Way when I did it in a day. That was just, honestly, one of the best days I've had on a bike. Not because
it didn't look like it was one of your favourite days on the bike towards the end of it.
Well, yeah, but the first bit, oh my
yeah,
word.
the first 5Ks, unbelievable.
No, 25K. No, honestly, I had an absolute riot. It was so nice. I flipping love that route. Just spending an entire day doing nothing but riding. It was absolutely brilliant. Don't forget though, as well as it being my highlight, we've got a video up on GCN, and we've also got a longer version, ad-free of course, on GCN Plus as well. So if you do want to know what I'm talking about, you can watch it. So there you go.
We spent a long time talking about your highlights, Si. What's your low light?
The low light was losing the FKT 5 days after I did it. No, it wasn't actually.
It had to be a low life to do it so soon after.
Yeah, no, actually it was 2 weeks afterwards that I lost it. But no, the low light for me was definitely hitting that flipping plank. Genuinely, that has been bugging me ever since. It really has.
I mean, imagine if you'd not hit it, you'd have finished in exactly the same place that you did anyway, wouldn't you?
No.
Without the embarrassment. Right, my highlight of the year, since I haven't ridden my bike very much, and when I did, I broke my ankle.
Low light?
No, I haven't got the highlight yet. The highlight was not breaking my ankle, Can you just let me finish? Sorry. My highlight was watching other people riding bikes, mainly through racing, of course. And I've got to say, it was Tadej Pogačar racing at the Ronde van Vlaanderen, or Tour of Flanders. Because it's so rare in the last few decades that you see a Tour de France champion compete at the Tour de Flanders, let alone rip it up like he did that day. But he's got unfinished business, hasn't he? Because he arrives towards the line thinking that the worst he could finish was second behind Van der Poel, maybe even win it, only to finish fourth. And he wasn't very happy about it.
That was cruel, wasn't it?
Line, was he?
But he also then went on to come second at the Tour de France, to lose the Tour de France. Do you reckon he's going to put 2 and 2 together and make 6? Well, I went to Flanders, I finished second at the Tour.
I think what he'll probably do is think, I'm going to go back to both and win them both next year.
I hope he does.
Yes. I mean, if I was as physiologically gifted as Tadej Pogačar, that's certainly what I would be thinking. Imagine second place at Tour of Flanders and Tour de France being your low lights of the year. It'd be the highlights of the century for me, either of them.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Right,
and then my low light, probably every single Instagram reel in which I was forced to dance.
I wouldn't call it dancing, mate. But are you saying that hurt more than your ankle?
I think it probably did, yes. Plus the dances didn't result in me being weighted on hand and foot. It's amazing how much sympathy you get when you're going around with a boot on and a pair of crutches.
Surely that sympathy ran out.
At home it did after 24 hours, yeah. But elsewhere, now that I'm getting out and about, people do everything for you. It's amazing. I'm going to keep this boot. Longer than I need it for.
What's really good about it is that we can hear you coming a mile off as well.
Yeah, I can't really tiptoe my way in anywhere.
Right, anyway, one other thing that's probably worth mentioning is that GCN is very shortly going to be celebrating its 10th birthday.
Wow,
isn't it?
10?
10!
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? But 10 years of chatting mainly nonsense about cycling it's been, hasn't it?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, we've had an absolute blast, and we would like to thank every single one of you who've basically allowed us the luxury of having this job.
Absolutely, yeah. It would be nothing without you lot. I wonder how many of you have been here for the full 10 years?
Well, I guess we can find out, can't we? Let's find out now, in fact. How many of you watching this video today have been with us for 10 years, starting to watch in 2013? Let us know in the comment section down below. I'm not sure anyone will have done, will they? I mean, if they have, that is a lesson in perseverance and patience, isn't it?
Well, that is true, actually. Anyone who watched the 500th GCN show, which was quite recent, actually, wasn't it, would have learned that Ollie Bridgewood was one of the first recipients of a GCN water bottle after submitting a photo with the caption, "Decent Descent."
Yes. Well, of course, back in those days, descents were all that Ollie was good at, because he couldn't go up a climb, could he?
Yeah. I tell you what, have you got a highlight from the last decade of GCN?
Oof.
Yeah.
No, you've put me on the spot.
No, I really have, haven't I?
I can barely remember the last year, let alone the last decade.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed the entire 10 years. I can't really think of that many bad moments. Even the ankle break wasn't that bad.
No. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? There's so many amazing things. We've got to go to some amazing places, meet some incredible people. Loads of you lot as well, who genuinely have made it. Like, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but like the amount of people that we've met that.
Yeah,
like,
it's a nice reminder, isn't it?
hello.
When you go to an event like you did at the Masters Cyclocross Worlds and people come up and chat to you, it's a really nice reminder that, because we're just sat, the three of us in here, camera operator, me and Si, and you forget sometimes that you're actually talking to other people. I mean, it's nice to see that there are some views, but when you go out to an event like that, whatever it might be, and you have chats with people and they say things to you like, I did the King Alfred's Way or the North Coast 500 or whatever it might be. I mean, that's inspiring to us, I think.
I can't believe you've glossed over your makeup artist sat in the corner. That's not fair. Can you say hello?
Yeah. Go on, Stefan. Next up, it is hack /Bodge of the week for the final time in 2022. It will be back in a week's time for 2023. First up, this one from our very own Connor Dunn. Spare bike lock going, worked perfectly as an extra piece of rope to pull my son in the snow over the weekend. Yes, we had some snow in Bath.
There you go. I tell you what, if Connor was riding his fat bike that he'd used in that GCN Plus film in Mongolia for this purpose of towing his son, imagine how fun that would be. You'd be absolutely rocketing around, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd be burning the snow underneath him at that.
He would indeed, yeah. There you go. Well, that's a hack from me.
I was just going to say Bodge, just because it's Connor, I think. Most people were more generous though. That resulted in an 81% hack from you lot and 19% bodge.
I mean, technically it is a bodge because, like, what's he got there? Like a piece of rope and then some steel cable. So, I mean, I can see where you come from.
And it's nothing to do with cycling really, apart from the lock.
Well, yeah, because actually Connor was running, apparently. He wasn't on a fat bike at all.
I'd like to see that.
To be fair, the size of Connor, he'd be probably covering some ground pretty quickly.
Well, no. Don't get me started on this. Everyone says it to me. You should be able to run fast because of the length of those legs. I'm like, well, the marathon runners aren't lanky.
No, it's true.
They're skinny, but they're quite short. Generally.
And Connor isn't actually the BFG. So yeah. No. Okay, right. Let's move swiftly on, shall we? To Marcel Yan cycling dashboard on a Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi being a kind of mini computer. Marcel said. Anyway. I've created a cycling dashboard running on a Raspberry Pi and displayed on a 7-colour e-ink display. It retrieves data from Strava and displays my totals on the screen and estimates the year-end total, which are refreshed every hour. Because it uses an e-ink display, it consumes very little energy. The wooden frame was built by my father. I've made the Python code, whatever that is, available for everyone to download.
You have quickly forgotten our time as developers for the GCN App site, haven't we?
Yeah.
We were all over it.
I know,
We talked different terms back then.
Yeah, Python. I was fluent in Python code back then.
Oh dear. Well,
that is cool though.
That is amazing in my view.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know full well how complicated Python code is, Si, and to be able to write in Python.
I like that very much. Also, fair play to your distance total this year. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Like it's harder than mine.
So you can find Marcel's post in the GCN app, of course, and there is a link there to his download. So you can do it as well. And apparently he's working on a tutorial on how to build this yourself. Can you make it idiot-proof? Because then Dan and I could do it as well.
Yes, unless we suddenly remember how to code. I'm going hack.
I'm going hack for that, 100%.
And, well, unsurprised. It's not 100% hack, but it's close enough. 91 versus 9%.
That's pretty good, Marcel. You should be pleased with yourself there.
Jill Brown 55, need a longer crank. Posted originally on Facebook, not a cable tying site, no gaffer tape, no 3D printers, must be a winner. And as you can see, it's 2 cranks bolted together to give a longer total crank length. It's going to affect your Q factor, that, isn't it?
Massively, and I hate to say it, but I'd catch my ankle on that bolt in the middle.
Yeah, I'd catch one of mine on them as well.
No, but you'd be all right. Oh, I suppose. Yeah, no, I was about to say you'd be all right because that's the left one, but presumably the right one looks like that as well.
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah, otherwise you'd have a
going back to what we
bike.
always say, you never know why these are needed, and it might be somebody with a leg length discrepancy.
Yeah, good point, actually. Absolutely. Although good point. Right, we shall hold fire on saying whether or not you need that, but more on the execution. Is it hack or
Okay,
bodge?
well, the execution, Bodge.
Yes. Yes, I've got to say bodge as well. And 86% of you lot said that is a bodge as well.
Okay.
So,
well, I think I know what I'm going to vote on the next one. It's Joe46 who wrote in and posted this photo. More of Si's hideous glasses. Someone please teach Si what good glasses look like.
Those are, I'm sorry, but that's a strong look, isn't it? Particularly with a red jumper there.
It's a very strong look, yes. Yeah. That is one way of describing the way you were looking there at the Zwift Academy.
Yeah.
We had a few funny comments underneath as well, so
did we?
Run quickly through them now. Gianni Bianchi, but I thought his riding goggles are bad, but this takes the cake. Si, 1985 called, they want their cheap sunglasses back. To which One Road Yeti replies, I thought it was a 49 Buick called, wants its headlights back. Is it Buick or Buick? It's
Buick,
another pronunciation. Okay, and then One Road Yeti also wrote, ET phone home.
You lot, that's mean. Come on, well, what, like, presumably most people said they were a hack, right?
You'd have thought so, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
But it turns out you haven't got quite as many accounts to vote as you thought you did. So it's only a 28% hack and 72% bodge.
Ah, that is savage.
Don't try and sound surprised.
Well, you know, one of the things about being at the forefront of fashion is actually you don't want the majority of people to think it's cool because, you know, once it becomes mainstream, it just loses its cool factor. So, you know, to those 28% of you out there.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Once these have become cool, you'll have moved on to the next uncool thing, won't you?
Basically, yeah. Just trying to keep one step ahead, so to speak. Anyway,
right.
Thank you, you lot.
Well, huge thank you to everyone that has posted hacks or bodges to the GCN app throughout 2022. Still one of our favourite sections of the show. As
It
has been
absolutely
for,
is.
well, was it in from the start? Almost 10 years anyway. If it's
Oh,
not
long
over
old
10
time,
years.
long old time. Yeah, there we go. Now, there is no caption competition this week because we haven't been able to give you the results of last week because basically we haven't had last week's competition yet, have we?
No, that's very easy for you to say.
Yeah,
So,
we're like time
isn't it?
travelling, aren't we, basically?
And that also means that we haven't found any of our favourite comments from the last week's videos because as we record this, they haven't come out just
The last
yet.
week hasn't happened yet.
No,
which
but
is really
that
weird.
does allow us to say a huge thank you to everyone who's got involved in the comment section under any video throughout 2022 because it's a huge part of GCN, isn't it? The community. You make us laugh. You make us cry quite often with insults like about size glasses, but it does make it a very nice place to be. Without that, if it's just the videos without any comments, I just don't think it would be the same.
No, 100%. I'm with you on that. I flipping love reading the comments and having conversations in the comments and all sorts. So yeah, no, please, we really appreciate
We
that.
quite often share comments on our personal WhatsApp group, just me and Si, not any other group. And Si's quite often so riled by some that he's like, I really want to reply to this, but I know I shouldn't. But I really want to, but I know I shouldn't. But for the vast majority of them, they're just very, very nice and wholesome to read, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Don't get started on a science debate. That's for sure. Right then, what is coming up on the channel this week to take us into the new year, Dan?
Well, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, we have got the Dawn Till Dusk ride. I was going to say Dusk Till Dawn. Then.
I know, that would have made it quite a lot longer.
Wouldn't it? This, I believe, is the latest of Hank's challenges, is it?
That's right. Well, and also a challenge for you lot as well. So for any of you in the Northern Hemisphere at the minute, where daylight is slightly shorter than it would be later in the year. Basically, we thought, well, why not make the most of the holiday season and crack on and do a bit of a bike ride? So Hank is trying to see whether he can do 100 miles between dawn and dusk. So that'd be pretty cool.
If anyone can, Hank can.
Absolutely.
On Thursday, we've got an urban gravel ride. And again, I think this is all about Bristol urban gravel ride, isn't it?
Well,
so I've been off work for a long time.
Here you go, basically.
Just catching up with everything.
More than half of the world's population live in urban areas, Dan. And so I don't want people to think that gravel is off limits to half the world's population. I think you can find some pretty cool gravel riding in cities, and to prove it, I've taken Connor out for a gravel ride within my home city.
Ah.
So there you go.
Sounds very good.
Yeah, that was good.
And then on Friday, we are talking all about saddle height, which we have done before, but to make this better, we've enlisted the help of Phil Burt, who's a bit of an expert on this particular subject.
Indeed he is. Yeah, he has fitted many a top pro, yes, basically, hasn't he? So he knows how to find...
field day with my Wahoo kicker bike setup, which I cobbled together the other day very quickly to do my 15-minute ride.
I bet he would. Right, then on Saturday, answering another question you've always wanted to know the answer to. What is the deepest puddle that you can cycle through? We sent Hank and Connor off to find out, basically. Nothing more complicated than that. Hank and Connor trying to ride through a puddle.
Help but think that Connor's going to get on a lot better at cycling through a deep puddle than Hank is going to. He's still there, Hank. Where have you gone? Right, in terms of GCN Plus and racing, it's the time of year for cyclocross, of course, and there's a lot of racing for you to feast your eyes on GCN Plus this week, including on New Year's Day, actually, in Basel, but even before that, we've got a few different events for you. Territory restrictions do apply, but if you're into your cyclocross, plenty of time to sit on the sofa and watch some cyclocross action.
Beautiful. Music to my ears. Music to my ears. Right, Dan, that's a wrap for 2022.
It is, yes. 52 more GCN shows in the bag.
There we go, mate. And 10 years.
I know.
Thank you again, everyone.
Couldn't think of anything more to say then. See you in 2032.